everybody, and welcome to episode 27. I believe it's 27. It is. It is. I'm happy to be back. We're coming off a big win against the New York Giants. And before we get into week 8, we're just going to go over some of the leftover stuff that was left from our, Rodney Foreman having been frustrated before the game. He's okay now. Unfortunately, we missed out on the superstar dev trait upgrade for DeAndre Swift. But I think he'll get the opportunity once again later this season. If not, if he continues to string along good performances, he might be able to just earn it from end of season awards and such. So hopping into the upgrades, I'll let that play in the background. What I wanted to make clear is that we're going to be playing week 8 here, which means that the next episode after this one will not be another game. Instead, it'll be our mid-season review, similar to what we did last season. Basically, we're just going to be going over all the stats around the league, how every team is performing, and of course, we have a couple guys to re-sign, to look into re-signing at least. Hopefully, we can get the first step done, or maybe get a couple of them to accept right away. I know I haven't gone into too much depth about who we're looking to re-sign, but that's all going to be covered up next episode, as well as all the draft. We haven't talked about it too much in any of the episodes so far. That's because I like to really kind of let it have its own spotlight in a video. So a big part of the next video, which I'm hoping is going to be by the end of the weekend, is going to be a big focus on the draft, the upcoming players. And, we're kind of in that weird position in the draft where it's hard to tell where we're going to finish. We've had a pretty easy schedule so far this season, but things could change at any point. Now, of course, we did lose to Chicago. Thankfully, we were able to bounce back. But we don't really know where this team is. Like I said last episode, I still think that this team is not necessarily what I envision it just yet. I think that by the development from week 1 all the way to week 17, we're going to be playing with a completely different team with guys who look much better out on the field. And I just think that this team still has so much left to improve on. But I also realized, and we'll go over that in the next episode as well, I think the rest of our schedule is going to be a little harder. It must be. And so here's the big news for this game here. Kyle Sloter is the starting quarterback for the 49ers. Jimmy Garoppolo has gone down to injury. It's unfortunate. A young kid with a lot of potential, but he really hasn't been able to make it work so far in his career. He just hasn't been able to stay on the field too much. But when he has, he's been a very good winning quarterback. So first run here for the 49ers to Raheem Mostert, 16 yards. And on a 1st and 10 on the 36, they're going to go with an empty back set. Kyle Sloter at quarterback number 4 is going to be dropping back, looking around, pressure coming in, and he's going deep on the first play. And that's going to be Kyle. I don't even want to try his last name, but he's the starting fullback. But as you can see, on the depth chart, he was placed as the 3rd down running back as well. So we're going to be seeing a lot of him in the run game, which I think is going to be cool. But a big catch there for the San Francisco offense. That is going to be Keys making that big catch. But we're going to be seeing a lot of Kyle there. And, I think he's the originator of that H-back role in the NFL, or at least the guy right now that does it the best. The guy who can catch the ball out of the backfield, who can run for the short yardage, and who can block very well. Kyle is that guy, and he's kind of what we're trying to do with David Njoku. Perhaps a little bit more involved in the passing game with David Njoku, but Kyle is just that all-around guy. But it feels like we're going to be seeing quite a bit of him today in the run game as well. He runs with a lot of power, and he's surprisingly fast and agile for his size. So it'll be interesting to see how effective he is. As this drive continues to go, the passing game just has not worked other than that big catch to Keys. So we're going to force a field goal on their first drive, and here comes Philip Shelby, who was able to bounce back after a sloppy Chicago game. We have to make him, we have to let him know that, we're not expecting him to put up 3 to 4 touchdowns a game. We want to win games. And if that means he just has to manage the game, manage the clock, put up the necessary yards for us to punch it into the end zone, we'll absolutely take that. And we want to make sure that he knows that, not to know that, we're not placing all that pressure on him alone. And I think that's going to help him in the long term. Now, trying to get the defensive line offside, but it looks like it's our O-line that jumps first. It always is. I don't know why I ever try it. Perhaps it's something to do with the sliders. I'm not too sure because I have never seen a defensive offside throughout this series. Now dropping back, it's going to be Swift off to his left. Pressure coming in. We know exactly what this defensive line is capable of doing. They were able to dominate us last week. Now, we have been better overall when it comes to sack numbers so far this season, but we're still giving up quite a bit of pressure. And a big part of this offensive going through is that Kerry Haynes is returning to the starting lineup. I wanted to bring it up earlier, but I'll bring it up now. Kerry Haynes was phenomenal for us at the end of last season. Valdez-Scantling was good, but I don't think he's offered us exactly what we wanted when that comes to being, a red zone and to a sideline threat. He hasn't really done that for us, as Philip Shelby almost throws an interception right there. But he hasn't been that guy for us. And we know what we can get out of a guy like Kerry Haynes. He's a guy who absolutely dominated by the end of last season. Like I just said, he's consistent, he makes tough grabs, and he gets open. He doesn't have the best route running skills, or at least statistically, his overall, when it comes to his route running, isn't very good, but he gets open, and that's all that matters in simulation. It's not about overall, it's about performance with us, and I think it's going to be for the best if we have Kerry Haynes back into the starting lineup as our receiver number 2. So back on the drive now, 2nd and 8, Philip Shelby with Swift off to his right. After a gain of just 2, is going to hand it off to DeAndre Swift, who gets into the open field, makes a man miss, and into the end zone. We didn't see it. It's a couple weeks in a row where he had big runs. We didn't get to see it last week, perhaps when it mattered most, when we needed him to get the yards for his superstar development. But he gets one right here, and DeAndre Swift has been so impressive for us. We love having him in the backfield. It was awesome that we're capable of giving him more touches now that Kerryon Johnson is no longer on the team, and we feel a little bit less pressure to get carries to Kayshawn Crocker and Matt Breida, who I want to get involved, but DeAndre Swift is just doing it all for us right now, and it's hard to take the reps away from him. So after a big sack by Trey Flowers, who is playing left end or right end right there, it's going to back him up to a 3rd and 17, and we have a chance to force them to punt. They're going to throw it short here to Brandon Ayuk, a young receiver who shows a lot of potential in real life. It'll be interesting to see how he develops in Madden, but I was a big fan of him coming out of college, and I'm definitely going to be following his career as it goes on, because I think between him and Deebo Samuel, they have a potential great duo being groomed right there. So a punt there to Jamel Agnew. He's going to get a decent return, so that's going to take us back to the 45, and here we go in the pistol. Watts is the fullback currently. We are going to hand this one off to Swift, who tries to break it back inside, but this talented defensive line is going to be able to, take him out and put him down to the ground. I believe that was Clelin Ferrell right there playing defensive tackle for them. Running it on the very next play. A little bit of a tough read right there. You would have liked to see him cut that one back in. Jonah Jackson did a great job getting his, left shoulder to the right shoulder of the linebacker, able to seal him out, but we kind of ran right into him. Philip Shelby now setting his feet, looking for Rodney Foreman downfield, and a deep crossing route right there, and Rodney gets wide open for a big gain. And he had a big touchdown last week, and of course, we saw his, I guess you can say his confidence or morale as they bring it into this game go up after having a decent game last week. And I'm starting to wonder if after the injury, a guy like Rodney Foreman perhaps was just struggling with morale and was having issues just getting back to how he felt before the injury. But he looked great last week, and I'm wondering if he'll be able to continue the big plays for us, because we absolutely need them if we're going to be more consistent on offense. Now, Philip Shelby lining up. We got TJ Hawkinson in the backfield as well. He's audibling things around, and he's moving people to the other side. Philip Shelby is going to snap the ball here. It's an RPO. Dumps it off quickly to TJ Hawkinson and walks into the end zone after a great Rodney Foreman block. And that's probably going to be the easiest touchdown of his career right there. And that is a great little play that we have not done before all season. We kept it as a surprise here for the goal line, and it works in our favor right there. We always want to keep things a little bit new, a little bit fresh to keep these defenses off balance. We don't want to become too predictable on offense. Now, Kyle Slaughter dropping back is going to find a wide open George Kittle. He's going to be tough to stop here today. He's arguably the best tight end in the league when healthy, between him and Travis Kelce. So we're going to have our hands full there. We've struggled against tight ends in the past. Now Mitch Klein bringing pressure, and that is a sack for the second-year linebacker who's getting an extended role in this defense. And just like that, 2nd and 21, we're looking phenomenal so far defensively. And bringing the pressure from the right side here, as Kyle Slaughter is not going to be comfortable enough to throw this ball downfield, so he just throws this one away. So 3rd and 21, this is the 2nd drive in a row where we pin them deep on 3rd down. Looking around, Kyle Slaughter moving, miscommunication there with his receiver. I believe that was Deebo Samuel, who looked as if he was doing a comeback, perhaps a hook, but Kyle Slaughter believed he was running the fade, and that's going to end up in our favor. So 4th down, they're forced to punt, and we take the ball back on the 29. Kyle Slaughter there on the sideline trying to get his offense together, trying to get things organized. But 2nd and 9 right here, pistol offense. We're going to go for a counter play right here to DeAndre Swift, who breaks 2 tackles. Unfortunately, not enough blockers on the left side to go get those DBs, but a good fight for yards right there to keep this drive going. 3rd and 7. Philip Shelby dropping back. It's a screen pass. Nothing but green ahead of him, trying to get the blockers set up. Unfortunately, the defense adjusts well, and that's going to be Jaquiski Tartt, a great safety for the San Francisco 49ers, who makes the tackle. Back into the empty set now, looking around, going deep for Rodney Foreman up high, and that is a big catch for 2nd-year receiver and standout rookie Rodney Foreman, and we're starting to feel as if he is back to what he was showing that he was capable of doing as a rookie, and it feels amazing because if he's able to perform, we're going to be so much better on offense. Great gain of about 8 yards for DeAndre Swift. It's going to be play action here. We fake the reverse, looking around, trying to find Rodney Foreman. He eventually goes and gets it. Unfortunately, Frank Ragnow is injured on the field, and for a guy who's in a contract year, we do not want to see this from our best offensive lineman. RPO now throwing it to Sammy Watkins, but the defense is ready and sitting and waiting for him. So that's going to be a loss of yards, I believe. And thankfully, it's just a bruised sternum for Frank Ragnow. He will be back next week, very likely. And this is why we spent a little bit of money on our backup offensive lineman this offseason, is because we realized when Frank Ragnow went down for the long term last year that our run game definitely suffered from it. So we're trying to make right off of what we learned last year. Now rolling out in a rookie mistake by Philip Shelby, loses track of where he is on the field and gets out of bounds for a loss of 8. And that means Hopkins is coming in for a field goal. He is perfect so far this year. A guy who has missed a couple throughout his NFL career, but he's looked great for us so far. We're also not asking him to hit all the deep ones like we did with Prater last season. So we're definitely making his job easy. And it feels like most of his field goal or point after attempts are just, chip shots for him. So he's able to do those on a consistent basis. A great move by Kyle right there. That was on, I believe that was on King, our starting cornerback, who completely falls down after the spin move. As I said, Kyle is very agile for his size. He's quite a deceiving player. Very next play, they drop it off to him on 3rd and 10, but Adrian Phillips is going to be there to take him down. So back on offense, a 17-3 lead so far. Perhaps one of our best starts of the season offensively here today. Now, Philip Shelby looking around, trying to find an open man. He's just going to end up running this one. That's going to be a gain of about 5 right there to set us up for a 2nd and 5. But more importantly, he gets out of bounds with only a minute left in the second. Philip Shelby now trying to organize the offense. Audibles. It's going to be a run play right here. And physical running there by DeAndre Swift is going to be enough to get about 6 yards and the first down. And our first timeout is spent right there. In the empty set, trips off to the right, but we also have a quads with DeAndre Swift out wide. Dumping this one off to TJ Hawkinson. Can't get out of bounds, but we're just going to go hurry up here. Philip Shelby dropping back, trying to find an open guy, going deep for Rodney Foreman, and over the head of the defensive back. And I'm saying it right here, right now, Rodney Foreman is back. Trey Herndon is going to be on a highlight reel ESPN clip for the rest of the season. That is probably one of the best catches we will see throughout this series, and it is done by nobody else but Rodney Foreman. And this offense continues to make the necessary big plays. And at this point, this San Francisco offense needs to get something going immediately if they have any hope of coming back in this game. Now dropped there by Brandon Ayuk, who was wide open on the drag route there. That was a unfortunate drop as he had the easy first down, had the chance to get out of bounds, I bet, as well. And there's Terrence Kramer on third down, shutting down the run. And we just look fantastic on both sides of the ball. And that's going to be it before half. And wow, what an impressive start for this offense. This has been the smoothest sailing game we've had so far. We're making all the big catches. We've seen a big run by DeAndre Swift and the physical ones that get us the 3-4 necessary yards to get first downs. Now, with the opening kickoff or kick return here, we're going to take this one back to the 20. Unfortunate that we are going to be starting 5 yards back had we taken a touchback. Now back in the pistol. It's going to be a stretch here, trying to get DeAndre Swift involved early. But that's Frank Warner. This is a very talented defensive line between Javon Kinlaw, I guess you can say Bosa and Armstead. There's a lot of talent. And then you go to the front seven, and they've got Frank Warner, one of the most athletic and active linebackers in the league. And they also have another linebacker with superstar abilities. I'll have to figure out who that is. But this front seven is completely loaded. And they can cause issues for most teams. But right now, it just feels like we're clicking on every base right now. And we're making things work. Back on offense after the punt. Looking around, he's going to find Brandon Ayuk. Perhaps making up for the drop drag right there. But only 6 for 13 so far for Kyle Slaughter. He's been struggling here today. Hopefully we can get an interception. We've only had one this year. It'd be nice to add a second to this game. Kyle right there with his fourth run, only having 7 yards so far here today. But 2nd and 5 here on the 42. Kyle Slaughter is going to hand this one off inside zone. Physical running there. And he's going to pick up about another 4 or 5 yards. So that's going to set them up for 3rd and inches. We know they want to run the ball here. This is a run-first team. Kyle back at fullback, and they do indeed run it. But Raheem Mostert is going to get the necessary yards for the first down. Picks up about 3 right there. So 1st and 10, staying under center for Kyle Slaughter. You're going to see Kittle off to the right with Raheem Mostert in the backfield. Now, trying to make a big move on Kevin King once again, but Malik Hooker coming across the entire field. He is, he's our free safety. So for the most part, he plays on the left side of the field, and he was able to track Raheem Mostert and put on a big hit for a loss of 2. Very next play, a big hit by Ronnie Harrison this time, and it's going to be a fumble, and it's going to be the Detroit Lions defense who recovers the football, and after review, we do indeed keep possession. So we get the chance to solidify this lead here, looking for an open guy, and it's going to be deflected down. TJ Hawkinson unable to come down with it. So 2nd and 10, Swift off to the left with a trips to the right. We're going to hand this one off, trying to avoid Frank Warner, but we're just going to end up running into Armstead and Kinlaw. 3rd and 7, we need a first down. Philip Shelby is going to snap the ball. It's a play action. He's rolling out. Trying to find an open guy. He's going to decide to run for it and gets out of bounds, but gets the necessary yards for the first down. 3 rushes for 6 yards, but let's remember that loss of 8 in the second quarter, where he made that rookie mistake, I suppose you can say, does count towards his run, and that was negative 8 yards. So he's been pretty decent in the run game for us so far, if we don't count that negative loss of 8 yards. Play action once again, rolling out to the same side. We like that. We like the athletic ability that we have on that side of the field to try and get away from that defensive lineman. And then we're going to be able to find Rodney Foreman on the comeback route. Philip Shelby, empty backfield, trying to roll out, trying to find an open space, but he's going to throw this one out of bounds, and they're going to call this one an intentional grounding. And that's going to be a loss of a down and 10 yards. 2nd and 20 here. We saw this quite a bit against Chicago. We want to avoid it. Finding TJ Hawkinson in the seam, breaks a tackle, and in one play, we get all our yards back. 13 for 17 for over 200 yards so far for Philip Shelby, and of course, 2 big touchdown catches. Back in the pistol, David Njoku now in the backfield. Right up the middle, DeAndre Swift. That's going to be a pickup of about 16 for 98 so far. He's been phenomenal today. Back under center, trips off to the right. We're rolling up to the left again. We like what we see on a consistent basis. Trying to find Rodney Foreman, but Trey Herndon is going to be able to knock this one out. You want Philip Shelby to realize where the defensive back is lined up there and perhaps throw this one closer to the sideline than more into the middle of the field. We missed out on a possible touchdown right there. So unable to score off the pass there and unable to get the first down with DeAndre Swift, we're going to be forced to take the field goal. So 27-3, it has still been a very dominant game. But even with the score like this, we've definitely missed out on certain opportunities. Now, Raheem Mostert makes a move on Ronnie Harrison, and he's going to be eventually taken down by Kevin King, who was able to catch him before he got broken, before he breaks loose. We know the kind of speed he brings to this game, and Ronnie Harrison trying to plug him up in the gap, but a great physical run there by Raheem Mostert as he stretches out, but still not enough for the first down. So with this beginning of the fourth quarter starting now, they're going to go for it. Kyle Slaughter under center. They're going to run the ball right down the middle, and Deshaun Hand able to take him down, able to limit him for only a gain of 3, but a first down nonetheless. Back in the shotgun, trips to the left with Kyle off to the right. He's going to be dropping back. Kyle's going to be blocking. He's going to pick up Josh Sweat until he finds, I believe that was Keys right down the middle. And trying something new with the defense here. We're going to pressure 3, and we're going to focus on trying to get an interception, but we're not getting pressure. And wide open is George Kittle. Right down the field. He does a little out to a post right there, and he gets nothing but big yards. So we're going to switch up that defense right away as it didn't work. Kyle Slaughter, empty back set. Dropping back, he's going to dump this one off quickly to George Kittle, who takes a big hit from Malik Hooker. It's nice to see that our players are committing acts of dominance, as I like to call them. They're putting up big hits on the best players the 49ers have on offense. We're trying to get in their heads here, and we are asserting that alpha male role against the 49ers as the score is still 27-3. Third and second in the shotgun with Kyle off to his right. It's going to be a run right up the middle. Josh Sweat and Trey Flowers both getting involved to stop that one. That's Josh Sweat's second tackle for a loss here today. 4th and 4, they've already gone for it on 4th down before, but they're going to do it again. Dropping back, Kyle Slaughter, pressure coming, going for the back of the end zone, but sails this one past Keys as he's hit as he throws, and currently only throwing for 50%. And you can see Philip Shelby and Rodney Foreman running into the field together. Nice to see where their chemistry has gone after a little bit of a rough start at the start of the year. Now it's for sure that we're going to try and run this ball as much as possible, try to start draining the clock, but left guard Jonah Jackson is down this time, and that's an unfortunate injury as we did spend a little bit of money on the backup roles, but it doesn't mean that we're necessarily the most comfortable depth-wise as we could be. 3rd and 7 after 2 minimal runs here for DeAndre Swift. There's going to be a motion, and we're going to end up tossing this one to Sammy Watkins, who gets caught up by Nick Bosa, forcing him to turn it back upfield. A great job by the defense there to, limit our offense and stop us from getting a first down. That's a 3 and out. And the unfortunate news with Jonah Jackson is that he does dislocate his elbow. That's at least a 6-week injury, if not more. Kyle Slaughter in his end zone now is going to dump this one off to Brandon Ayuk, who picks up about 8 to 9 yards right there. So 2nd and 1. Back in the shotgun here, about just under 5 minutes left in the 4th. Looking around, he's going to dump this one off short to Keys. He's been quite a big target for them. We haven't seen too much of Deebo Samuel. It's been mostly Ayuk, Kittle, and Keys so far here today. Kyle Slaughter dropping back, trying to find an open man, and he's going to dump this one off to the drag route once again. This time it is Deebo Samuel. Let's hope I didn't just jinx us. We definitely want to not have Deebo Samuel carry the ball in his hands because he's absolutely dangerous with the ball in his hands. And there he goes, making a big play on Kevin King, who's been kind of exposed here today. I think that's at least 3 times on separate occasions where Kevin King was perhaps made to look a little silly. Now, throwing deep to the sideline, unable to keep this ball in bounds as Jeff Okudah and Deebo Samuel have been matched up with each other all game so far. And I'm assuming that if Deebo Samuel doesn't have many catches, it means that Jeff Okudah has done pretty good for himself so far. And that's always good when we're able to limit the other team's number 1 receiver. Dumping it off short there to George Kittle. So 3rd and 1. Kyle is going to be the running back to the right. It's a possible run, but no, we bring the blitz and almost intercepted by Kevin King. He is currently our only player with an interception. He's had multiple opportunities throughout the season, and he continues to create them. But to a certain extent, we want to start seeing him take advantage of those opportunities. As a physical run on 4th down there by Raheem Mostert, and we officially enter the 2-minute warning. 1st and 10, Kyle Slaughter in the shotgun. There's going to be a little bit of an audible here as they carry over the trips off to the left. Kyle moves over to the right. It's going to be a pass. Dropping back, dumping this one off short to George Kittle. A missed tackle, and he's going to take this one all the way. What an unfortunate play. Amani kind of gets, I don't know what happens. Perhaps he hesitates a little bit. Perhaps George Kittle gives him a little bit of a move and kind of changes his speed. But that's going to be enough to bring him all the way into the end zone, and going for 2, Deebo Samuel wide open in the middle of the end zone. So finally a touchdown, and then they catch us off guard here with the onside kick formation, almost losing it, but thankfully we get the ball back. Now in the past Maddens, if you didn't catch it or if you didn't recover it after the first touch, it meant automatically that you wouldn't get it. That's just how they made it work in the past Maddens, but it's nice to know that it changed, because let me tell you, as I was playing, my heart rate picked up a little bit, I won't lie. Now, Philip Shelby is going to hand this one off. The first run was to Matt Breida, this time to DeAndre Swift, and the 49ers are starting to use their timeouts. They've already used 2 here, so 3rd and 2nd and 1 timeout left. Detroit Lions are going to go for a read option, cuts upfield and through the contact. He's going to get upfield, but they're going to use their timeout. But on top of that, it's going to be a booth review here, and we're unsure if whether the knee was down or not. We're not going to get a proper angle of the line of scrimmage right here, or at least the first down marker. So I think we're going to have to wait until the ref's decision before we know. I do believe it's enough for a first down, though. And it is. So this offense stays out here. Officially no more timeouts left for the 49ers. And we're going to be looking to get one more first down to just put this game away. An unfortunate injury for the 49ers as Farrell is going to go down, but that also stops the time for them, perhaps giving them a chance to make a play, but they're going to have to get a stop here on 3rd and 1. Let's see if they do it with Crocker now out on the field. Wasting as much time as possible. Crocker, it's going to be a pitch. They were expecting a play up the middle, runs a man over, and he's going to get the big first down. Crocker, who's been a little bit less involved in the offense in the past 2-3 weeks, but still nonetheless an explosive runner who's made big plays for us. We're just trying to balance out this backfield. We have a couple names who've shown that they are more than capable of making big plays. It's just about trying to time it and trying to make sure everybody gets the reps that they deserve, but also, who's going to have the hot hand and when will we be able to use it. So a big win here, 27-11, perhaps our biggest win of the whole series. Never mind the whole season. This might be our best win of the series. Rodney Foreman had a great game. This is Sammy Watkins' first off game, so we'll see if he's able to continue to stay involved as he's had a great start to the season. But DeAndre Swift looked great. 21 carries for 111 yards, 5.2 average. George Kittle had himself a good game, but Rodney Foreman was the star here. He looked absolutely phenomenal, and let's hope he can keep this form that he showed off, because our offense is going to be just so much more dynamic with them. So going over the stats here, I won't end up cutting the video right after the going over the defensive stats. We have a couple of things to take care of after this, but not too bad so far. Unfortunately, still don't have the interceptions that we're looking for, but it is what it is. We're trying to do what we can do, and I hope you guys enjoyed. Like I said, by the end of the weekend, I'll be trying to get the, our little, mid-season review. Here's the injuries for Jonah Jackson. Taylor Decker also out. So we are currently down 2 starting linemen, which is unfortunate. But I hope you guys enjoyed, and peace out.